What's up? What's up? Lord Skunk here, lordskunk.com, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes live show. We're here. We're doing this thing. We are live. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for checking us out. lordskunk.com. Make sure you hit that up. We've been getting blasted recently with so many viewers, man. We got our raid guide up for the AAT tank takedown, so bear with us. We really need your help and support. If you're able to support the upgrading of the site and other stuff that we got, if you enjoy the live shows and all the other goodies that we bring to you guys, make sure that you head over to our Patreon, which is in the description of this video, or you can find on our website when it's up. So bear with us on the website. Keep checking back. I know a lot of people enjoy checking out that raid guide that we got up there. We just updated it yesterday with tons of great information. We just finished our third AAT heroic. As you can see on the screen here, we're moving right along when it comes to that. Had a rough go. The first one restructured the guild around a bit. Put all of our more of our higher tier players in the Team Skunk main guild. So we're working our way on getting that on autopilot for the main guild, and then we'll continue to work with our other guilds on getting them up there as well. So a lot of other good successes. I know a couple other Team Skunk guilds have downed the ATT normal, and I believe we got a couple heroics in there as well. So really cool on that end of it. Appreciate everybody again for checking this out, and appreciate it if you're willing to support us. Also, real quick, we're going to get into the Galaxy of Heroes news, but just a couple other news things. I got a lot of questions from people and comments from people talking about a podcast style. They love the live show, but they like to listen to a replay of it, or maybe they miss it and they need to catch it somewhere else. We do have that launched as well on the website. So again, your support goes towards that. We do have a podcast style. So if you missed this for any reason, you miss an episode, or you want to go back and listen to an episode, we have those up there. Just click on podcasts on lordskunk.com. You can check that out. Or I believe you can go to lordskunk.podbean.com to see it as well if you guys want to grab those podcasts from there. So really appreciate that. Now let's pop over to the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news.
We're sitting here.
We're going to start out with some of the new announcements that they had. A new character has been released. So the devs recently pushed out an update today that details the following. For player level 22 and above, you'll receive an inbox message detailing the 150k raid tickets their guild will be receiving. I guess they must be in a guild to get that. But please note that if you do not see these tickets right away, it is because your guild leader needs to log in first. So what does that mean? That means more raids this weekend for everybody. More raids, so you'll be able to bust out some more rancors and some more ATT tank raids, whether you're doing normal or heroic. Also, they released the BISTAN event counter timer was adjusted to match actual start time of the event for your region. So that's cool. Okay, we got BISTAN coming, so we're going to be talking about him here in just a second. So we got some update notes for 10/27. That was yesterday. New Rogue One character for November's daily login is BISTAN. Imagine that, BISTAN. I know you guys are all excited. It's one of your favorite Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes characters from all time, right? Well, we'll get into who BISTAN is here in just a second. Here's what they have to say about him in the game. BISTAN is a wild rebel attacker who utilizes a new buff called Frenzy. This is pretty exciting. Let's pull him up and see what he looks like, what his model looks like in the game. He's very handsome. See if we can find him here. Little BISTAN. There he is. Okay, so we got BISTAN pulled up here. So he has a new buff called Frenzy, allowing him to gain 100% turn meter whenever an ally uses a special ability. Frenzy's duration can be increased by upgrading the ability. An able gunner, BISTAN is able to utilize gunner tactics to both deal damage and remove turn meter from his target. By utilizing his abilities, BISTAN is able to provide sustained bursts of damage while delaying his enemies. As an added bonus, the devs will be running a daily Rogue One BISTAN event for the month of November that allows players to collect additional BISTAN shards. If you log in every day, you can unlock BISTAN early and increase his star level by the end of the month. So BISTAN is our newest Rogue One character. It's going to be similarly launched as Scarab. What was it? What was the one? Scarab what?
Scarab Rebel Pathfinder. This guy's got to hit like a feather if he gets 100% turn meter every time. It's special.
He hits like his eyebrows.
I mean,
so what did you guys think of his abilities so far?
What happened? What did you say?
What did you think of his abilities so far? Did you have a chance to look those up?
Oh, I did. They look great, but like I said, turn meter every time that one of your allies uses a special. there's got to be a catch there. That catch to me, because that would be OP if that was like first order TIE pilot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like, so if he's getting that much turn meter, I'm imagining his attacks probably don't deal much damage. He's probably just
Well, let's look at it. We got it pulled up right here, so I'll tell you what he does. So Blast Him is his basic. Deal physical damage to target enemy with a 70% chance to inflict damage over time for 3 turns. The damage rating on this is 39.27 to 43.39. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad damage right there at all. Now, here's his special, though. So his special is the Frenzy, which is a 7-turn cooldown. BISTAN gains Frenzy for 4 turns, and all other allies gain 20% turn meter. Frenzy, whenever another ally uses a special ability, this unit gains 100% turn meter. That's a 4-turn buff. Wow.
Yeah, this Frenzy I've been hearing about for a while now. I'm glad they finally dropped it in the game.
And then
it's going to be a real cool. It's a real cool ability.
Yeah, now check this out. So his final special ability is Gunner Tactics, 3-turn cooldown. Deal physical damage to target enemy and remove turn meter equal to BISTAN's potency. The damage on this is between 9,000 and 10,000 damage. Really?
That's a lot.
Yeah. Now listen to this. His unique is amped up. BISTAN gains 10% potency for each rebel ally and each debuffed enemy.
Wow, that's insane.
So you're talking about a potential of 100% potency on top of what I don't know what he has normally. I mean, normally, let's see what he has. His normal potency base is 35%. So his base is 35% potency. So you would only need 7. You would only need 5 rebels on your team, and then 2 people debuffed, and you'll be sitting at 100% potency.
What detrimental effects? Just damage over time, or that he inflicts?
He has a 70% chance to inflict damage over time with his basic for 3 turns. Oof. Yeah.
That's the only.
Now here's the kicker. Okay, here's the kicker. So it's not even like he's a soft character or he's slow. He's got a power of 8664, speed of 145, and health of 18,000. So I mean, the guy's not a slouch.
That's a really good base speed. I mean, that's not hard to get that guy over 200 real easy with mods.
Yeah.
I
think you guys, you beta testers, whoever you guys are out there, didn't do a very good job beta testing this character, because this is a little ridiculous. I don't know what the devs were thinking. This guy's going to just be one-shotting people. So
the devs might be thinking they were testing out the new raid.
This guy could be.
The devs want to sell a quick BISTAN pack, I guess. They want to make some money out of BISTAN pack, man. As soon as this month's over,
BISTAN sounds really good.
Yeah,
really
good. Sounds pretty sick. I mean, the Scarif was pretty decent. I mean, the Scarif wasn't horrible by any means, but BISTAN looks crazy.
Oh yeah.
So BISTAN was now here's the thing though. Okay, now here's the thing about BISTAN. Let's make sure we're clear on this. A lot of people are like, well, who the heck is this guy? This guy's nobody. Why is this guy so good? Let me tell you a little bit about who BISTAN is in the Star Wars universe. Okay, I think you guys need to know this. Okay, first off, BISTAN is a male Iakaru, okay, who served as a soldier in the Alliance to restore the Republic during the Galactic Civil War. And listen to this, very important piece here about BISTAN, okay? He took part in the theft of the plans for the Death Star. That's definitely good to know. Described, BISTAN is a fierce warrior. BISTAN is short, light-skinned humanoid covered in black hair. He served as a door gunner on a UT-60D. So he took part in the theft of the plans of the Death Star. It's pretty freaking cool. We didn't know that BISTAN was a behind-the-scenes guy like that. So BISTAN really was the launch of the Star Wars franchise. If BISTAN would not have stole those plans, we never would have met Princess Leia, Darth Vader, and all the other characters in there. So BISTAN is an integral character within the Star Wars universe.
Well, I've seen him in the commercials for the Rogue One movie, and he seems like a pretty wild character. I'm not sure. I've seen him. You're
going robotic on us, Roman. You're going a little bit robotic on this, buddy. A little bit robotic. I don't know if the connection's bad or something.
Let me log out back in.
Sure. Okay, while we're waiting for Rebound to come back in, Omega Battles are returning every Saturday in November. So log in every Saturday in November and earn rare ability material Omega pieces. So
that's a nice bonus for people who aren't leveled up to the old level cap and even the new level cap now for those daily Omegas.
Now, here's a little bit of a hint about this. So additionally, there will be 2 new packs launched with specific Omega events. A Clones Droids daily pack and a Sith Night Sister daily pack. Keep a lookout for their debut. So I'm thinking that obviously it's going to be a Clones Droids Sith Night Sister. I'm assuming by them releasing this pack is what we're going to be looking at in these Omega events. Now, I can't remember, was there ever this combo before, or these new Omega events?
I don't think they've ever done like a clone pack like that. And Night Sisters has been non-existent.
So it looks like they're going to be trying to get you to buy some of these characters to be able to do these Omega events. So we'll have to see what happens moving forward. I'm not sure what that's going to be. But speaking of this Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, he has been added to Cantina 1D battle. So he's in an early battle, which I don't know if that's great or not, really, because those lower battles you don't get as much resources out of. But hey, whatever. If you're looking to get the Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, you can pick him up out of Cantina 1D. Are you working on him in the Cantina, or are you working on somebody else right now, McLeod?
I was thinking about it. I mean, I started going in there and like thinking 1D. That's pretty good in terms of energy because that's a better drop rate per token in the Cantina. But yeah. Bit low in resources, but that doesn't seem to matter too much, especially since we get things like credit heist and all those good things now. So building resources by grinding them out these days doesn't seem too much of a problem when it comes to chasing a character like that on a lower level. I don't know who to go for right now. There's a lot of choice and there's a lot of new characters coming out. And with building up all these rosters for the new AAT raid, it's a real hard choice. So I'm kind of sitting back at the moment and deciding where it's going to go.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, me personally, I was trying to get my mod, the mod achievement up to 1,000 or whatever. I wasn't too far off from that. But I said, I'm going to put down the back burner. I'm going to focus on getting B2. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to get B2. So hopefully they'll drop Sunfac at some point. So I'll have B2 and Sunfac in the repertoire. So just another update here, improvements to squad tournaments. Okay, so another squad tournament is around the corner, so we want to let you know about a few improvements we made. Okay, so they fixed a bug causing the character refresh to occur at the wrong time, which that's kind of how it was launched last time, which was confusing. To mitigate an unintended behavior, the defensive squad can only be set once per tournament, and matchmaking has been improved. Good deal. I made that.
That is much better.
Yeah, I made that
better off.
Made that recommendation the very first live show after that, right? I mean, that seemed like pretty common sense to me. But okay, good. I'm glad they did that. We changed the cost of refreshing characters from crystal to ally points to create more inclusive experience. Now, just so you guys know, they're probably going to offer a ally points pack for sale on the store.
I know people have been predicting this, but that is just ridiculous for the one thing that was always kind of really free in the game and that you didn't have to work too hard to. If they actually start selling that and people buy that, that'll just be...
Well, they won't be ally points anymore. If they sell them, they're not ally points anymore, okay?
No.
Now, what I recommended that they do, and what other games have done, one of the other games obviously I play that you guys know is Marvel Future Fight, and what they do in their PvP arena, tournament, whatever you want to call it, they allow you to just use credits. Or currency, whatever the money currency is, so like gold, credits, whatever. That's what I thought would make sense here. I mean, now you're allocating a resource. Do you want to allocate your credits towards, maybe starring up a character or leveling up a character or whatever it might be, or do you want to allocate that money resource to, the tournament? How do you want to do it, right? So,
yeah.
and that is still technically tied to crystals. So I hope they don't offer ally points for sale. I really hope they don't. But it would still be tied to crystals. But you're back to money. How do you want to spend that? It's not just spending crystals. It's spending. You could earn that currency the other way. You could earn it from the credit heist. You could earn it from a lot of other ways. So it just depends. Yeah. It's something. It's just something I think they could have done that part. They could have done a little bit better with. Hey, I'm glad they're doing this though. I'm glad they're making these changes. So just if they fine tune it in the future, because everything's a work in progress. I mean, any game, that's an online game is always, going to be improved upon as time goes on.
But of all the updates that came this week, that's the one that excited me the most. Because that ally points have been great. And at one point they did use them for, I can't remember what it was, but they were useful for something. And then I kind of burned a few and then I just kind of sat on them. Yeah. So I accumulated a huge amount. And then I thought it would be a kind of game to see how high I could get it, and I'm up to like hundreds of thousands of those things because I just stopped spending them.
It was the play to give event. Do I sound a lot better now?
Yeah,
that's better.
It was the play to give event, the female event that they had.
That was it.
Yeah. They allowed you to refresh them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I figured to myself they're gonna create some other way for you to ally points. I mean, just the credits you got off that event alone were more worth it than using them for Bronzium packs. So right now I have around 265,000 ally tokens.
Yeah,
That's
I'm around
good.
the same. I just stopped using them. They didn't seem any point. You get 5 free a day, and I'm not really getting anything great from a Bronzium that I would really need. So I just let them sit. And when they announced that, I went to go look at my count. I'm like way up there in like 200,000 plus
I
ally
think there should
points
be.
now.
I think there should be an adjustment to Bronzium once you hit like level 80 or level 85. Like, you should get different gear. You're still getting the same gear that you were getting early game. And it's like a lot of that stuff is really useless. I mean, who cares about getting 300 credits and some IG-86
Yeah.
shards?
Yep, true. Well, for those of you that didn't go ahead and spend them, I know a few people did because they weren't quite sure what happened. You did get 500 ally points as a gift in your inbox. And I know a lot of people got that. They didn't pay attention. They just burned them up. So, yeah, I started saving mine just a few days ago. Probably I got around 11 or 12,000. Not a lot. But I saw somebody in Team Skunk that was talking about it. They said they had like 450,000 of these things, and I'm like, man, there might be an advantage to banking these. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's actually on my server. Bantha Fodder X out of Team Skunk X has about 450,000 of these ally points. He's on
Nice.
he's on my server, so that's cool.
Gonna do well in the next tournament.
Yeah.
Do we
Hope
know
so.
what the prize for the next tournament is? Is it going to be the same character, or are they putting
I
in
would
something
imagine.
new?
I would imagine they're going to probably bring back the same character. They haven't said anything yet, but
Right.
I would imagine it's going to be Shore Trooper. And my advice, just as somebody who invested heavily with crystals with this event, would be, even though you're using ally tokens, right? They're going to bring back the event again, and maybe it'll be a different character at some point, or maybe they'll have other ways for you to use or utilize ally tokens as well. So I wouldn't just go bananas just because it's ally tokens for the tournament. I would still pick the tournament based upon who you're on with. Like if you're on a server like Sky from Team Skunk Alpha, where you're going to have to put in 30,000 points to win the tournament, I would suggest probably not investing in that tournament. Just try to stay in the top 100 and go for the next one where you get maybe a more relaxed server where you can maybe win it with, let's say, 10,000 or so.
Is
You
that
can
your boy
just
Sky
kind of
Kraken?
slowly. What happened?
Is that Sky Kraken?
Yeah, Sky Kraken.
You will not. Speaking of him, every single day at the end of my Galactic War, I get him every single time now. I think he's the only, because I'm level 82. I think he's the only one higher than me anywhere that they can pull in. I get him every single time now.
No. What he did was the day that they increased the power levels for everyone. Just recently, remember how everybody's power went up a couple hundred points?
Right.
What he did was he just put all of his tanks on one team. Like he put, Manchester Initiate, Chewbacca. So they were all like almost like 10K power, and he actually broke the 50K power mark for his arena team.
Wow.
And so like when the reason that the node is broken, that last node is broken, is it's looking and it's searching for like a harder opponent for you, and it's not finding it. So it's just giving you a default like generic like BS team, right? So that's why people are getting those like low quality last couple of nodes of Galactic War, until Sky broke the 50K mark, and now he became pretty much like the universal.
Yeah, he's like the default. He's always the last node.
I think that should be like an honor badge. Like I think like when you become like when you become like the number one player in on that SWGOH.GG top 50, I think that you should become everybody's last node of Galactic War.
That is crazy.
But
famous. He basically is.
He's famous. Yeah, and he's also famous because he holds one of the highest phases damage in a Team Skunk raid as well. So it's on the raid guide that we have on lordskunk.com. Now let's finish up this news here. So Scareth Rebel the Scareth Rebel can't even say it. That's a mouthful. Scareth Rebel Pathfinder, his heal from Do or Die will no longer fail if the unit is defeated with healing immunity and or shock present. Some more people are starting to use him. I've seen Riemann just upgraded his to at least 4-star, possibly 5 now. So you're working on him, Riemann.
Yeah, that Scarecrow Pathfinder is really cool. I can't wait to get them finished.
They fixed some of the raid issues. And they were implemented this weekend. Just as an update, so everybody knows, this weekend marks the end of daylight savings time for some regions. Please note that the game does not observe daylight savings time. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes keeps a constant 24-hour day. This means if you change your time back by 1 hour, then it may feel like everything occurs 1 hour earlier. However, this is not the case, as the game clock has remained consistent for game balance reasons. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. So those of you that were just getting used to your payout that's on East Coast, for example, just getting used to your payout being at 7, it's now back to 6 p.m., just so you guys know that. So update yourself accordingly.
That's actually going to be next weekend for us, not this weekend.
Yeah, it's just an announcement that they made. So
Yeah,
when it changes in the world,
in UK and Europe, they're going back this weekend. So,
are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So for us in the U.S., we got another week, but for some of the people in EU and other places in the world, it will be this weekend. So it's good to know. I remember when it happened, I think we were all kind of like, "What the heck's going on here?" Remember, we were all trying to figure out what was going on, and now we just got used to that. It seemed like now we got to switch back again. So that's that. Now let's go over real quick. I just want to go over the raid report. Okay, we got McLeod's going to be doing the meta report here in a minute, but we're going to be looking at the raid report. And right now, overall, the top guilds is I'm assuming that's a I don't know what kind of guild it is. Russian maybe, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some weird name. Team Skunk Omega in second. Russian Heroes are in third. 4PDA Kashik is in fourth, and then Conclave Hispania is in fifth. So listen, it looks like Team Skunk is the only American guild, primarily American guild. Believe me, they got a lot of other European people from all over the country in that guild, but primarily an American-based guild that's in the top 5. That's crazy, guys. What's going on? America, come on, get in the game here. All right, now let's take a look at the tank takedown raid. Sitting in number 1 right now is Team Instinct. And I believe that's another. Did we say that Chai Guild? Was that a Russian guild too? I don't know. CH in that weird letter.
I think so.
Yeah, I think they're maybe a Russian guild. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guilds back in there. Order 66 and Team Skunk. So at least we got 3 primarily U.S. based guilds in the top 5 here. I'm not saying that that's not right for other country based guilds to be in there. I'm just saying that, come on, guys, we're America. We got to hold it down, man. You know, we win the Olympics, we win everything. So let's get our head in the game here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's good stuff there. And then, of course, we got the pit, which we won't get into too crazy. But looks like Team Skunk Omega is sitting at third on the pit. So really cool there to see Team Skunk represented like that. Now, speaking of Team Skunk, if you're interested in joining a guild, especially if you're in a guild right now and you're unable to complete the AAT tank takedown, and you're like, man, I'd really like to be an organized guild that's able to do that. A lot of these other guilds prior to this release of this tank takedown were able to just roll through rank wars, not a big deal. With the tank takedown, more coordination, more teamwork, more effort has to be put in. So if you are interested in doing that, you can head over to teamskunk.com for more information. We do have guilds set up for all different play levels, all different play types. All kinds of good stuff there. So if you're interested in joining the #1 community in the galaxy, again, head over to teamskunk.com. Now let's kick it over to my boy McLeod. Are we going to be looking at this meta report? What do we got going on here, buddy?
Right, let me just pull it up. And if you get the graphic up there, did you get it this time?
I have it up. I'm looking at the leaders right now.
All right, if we're looking at the leaders. Now, last week we were talking about the emergence of I'm a Gundai. Or I'm a gonna die. Well, he's died a death off the top of the leader chart and disappeared. He only had 3 in there anyway, but he appears to have completely disappeared this week. So maybe it's a case of people were trying him out because they started to get him from Cantina, and they're realizing it's actually not that great a team in Arena without everything around him, which I don't think everyone's figured out what that team around him should be yet. And if they are just using Jedis, then obviously you've got all the Emperor Palpatine teams that might be taking a toll on an entirely Jedi team. So he's dropped out. And that's about it for the leaders. Everyone's pretty much stayed the same. It's still a speed meta with Lando as lead, and obviously the anti for Palpatine is the Rex lead. And then you've obviously got your Wigs combo, and they're in there again. And then you got the old favorites with your Obi-Wans and your Anakin's, Admiral Akbar for a little extra speed there for people who might not have Lando all the way farmed up. And obviously your droid teams are still hanging in there a little bit with HK-47 as the lead. But it's pretty much the same, except we've lost Simon Gundai off the top 10 now. So that's the leaders report. And if we move swiftly
I'm a
on...
Gundai.
Yeah.
I'm a Gundai was going in with 3 entries, and we all predicted that he was going to be moving up. And wow, so he is not there.
Yeah, so my idea behind it, like I said, I think it's because no one's really fully figured out that team right and how to use him as a lead properly yet. It's just too difficult because he's only really good if you stick in a bunch of Jedis, and an all Jedi team is pretty susceptible to attack from various different current meta teams. So he's dropped out for now. He might come back, but we've had a little more interesting movement on what squad members make up these teams. So
we got that pulled up here.
Yep, pull that up.
Yep.
So what we are seeing is last time we saw B2 coming in a little bit, and obviously because Cantina easier to farm, so people are bringing him in a little, and he's dropped out in favor of Shore Trooper. So all those people who managed to acquire Shore Trooper at whatever level are starting to try him out, it looks like, and put him in there as an alternative, because there's not much else going on in terms of squad makeup. It's still Stormtrooper Han, Jedi Knight Anakin, Wigs, or you're running a droids team, or it's the Emperor Palpatine leads. So not really much change, apart from quite surprising that B2 dropped right out of there after coming in really strong last week and has been entirely replaced by Shore Trooper, which we wouldn't have thought so because it wasn't widely available. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what that means exactly right now, and it hasn't really affected my server at all. But that seems to be what the trend is up at the top.
Interesting. Yeah, it's weird seeing some of those characters go on up there for so long. It's interesting. I think, again, as we see, I'm telling you, as we get closer to the Rogue One release, we're going to be seeing a ton of new characters. We haven't seen any dark side type characters yet released, other than Shore Trooper and the TIE Pilot. We only saw the 2 Rebels. There's going to be a ton, man. There's going to be a ton released. I mean,
for sure.
Released in packs.
That's going to be nice.
Yeah, there's going to be $100 pack, guarantee you. Okay, for sure.
That TIE Fighter pilot is going to be pretty serious when you get, max him out. And what people are starting to realize, something I've been saying to people for a little bit is Shore Trooper doesn't have to be 7 stars for him to work for you in arena. Shore Trooper has, a cool ability, like his taunt to start the match is what makes him unique. So ultimately, as long as you get him to gear 10, he could be 3-star or 4-star and still do what his job. He can still distract somebody from your DPS, right, to start the match, so that they can't just Wigs can't just one-shot your Wigs, or Wigs can't just one-shot your Lando to start the match. So plus that healing immunity, all he has to do is get that critical immunity up, and he's done his job.
So
kind of like old Ben, you were able to use a 4-star old Ben for a long time because all he needed to do was get off that that Jedi mind trick, and that's all you need him for. Then as far as Ben's concerned, he could die and just give everybody buffs.
Yeah, that's a really good answer to the question as to why Shore Trooper suddenly just came right on over B2, because B2 appeared last week with 123 entries there, and Shore Trooper came in this week with 126, wiping out B2 off the chart entirely.
Totally.
And that's probably because, like you said, you don't have to have him hugely start up to be effective. And it sounds like he kind of works a little like Raid Han, like OG Han, because he'll go in there and stun whatever character you need to take out to get off your DPS and your go first. And he does a similar thing, it seems. Is that right, Raymond?
I'm sorry, I missed that end part that you said.
Oh, that Shore Trooper acts a little like OG Raid Han does, in that he can take out an initial threat from a couple characters, so you can get your hits off first.
Yes, it's like a gimmick almost, right? Because Raid Han, he's okay, but his real trick is he gets to stun Jawa Engineer if you're facing a droid team and prevent him from giving everybody turn meter. So that one trick is really all you need him for. He could die after that because the rest of your guys are going to take care of it. But you just need him to stop the Jawa Engineer from going first. So
and it's the same. You want him to stop Biggs as well from taking out your Biggs if yours isn't faster.
Exactly. So once he serves his purpose, at that point, it doesn't really matter if he's 7 stars. And I've seen some pretty. I have a guy on my shard that uses a 3-star Shore Trooper that he got from the tournament, and he's got almost 8K power. He's still pretty tanky. I mean, he's just missing a little bit of HP, but he's still, he's strong enough to do the job.
Cool.
It's all going to depend on the mods that you equip on him anyway.
Yeah.
Good deal. If you have a question that you want to have asked on the live show, make sure you head over to Twitter, follow LordSkunk1, and use hashtag AskSkunk. Put your question there. We'll be glad to answer that for you at the end of the show. Always. Hang on, I got to start this raid. I didn't realize we were starting a Rancor raid. I guess we got those free little tokens, so everybody wanted to get going on these piggies and Rancors. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing on auto.
No. We're not actually fighting the Rancor yet. We're fighting at 8 a.m.
Are you sure? Because there's already a lot of damage taken away on the thing.
There's one person that posted accidentally.
Oh, who was it?
Shane N7.
Shane N7. Shame on you, Shane. What are you doing? I got so many freaking raids going off, guys. I can't keep track of what's going on now. And now they gave us more raid tokens, so it's making it even more difficult, which I'm not complaining about, believe me, in any way, shape, or form. I'm not complaining about that. We also have a AT&T raid going on. Looks like damage has been done on that, so I'm assuming we are doing that one.
That one you're allowed to take one poke at right now.
All right, cool. So again, if you want to ask a question on the live show, make sure you follow LordSkunk1 on Twitter. Use the hashtag AskSkunk. We'll be glad to answer that later in the show. Riemann loves your questions, so make sure you get those for him, whatever it might be. We'll get you an answer to it. Also, again, just a reminder, we do have the raid guide post on lordskunk.com. We do have the podcast up on lordskunk.com. We are having issues with the site. It's been up and down. We're getting so much traffic to the site. Please, if you can, support us. $1 a month, man, is all it takes for the live show. It's 25 cents a live show. Really appreciate that. If you can do that, support us. You can find the Patreon link in the description of this video or on lordskunk.com by clicking support us. We also have the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes forums and other forums up there. You can check those out on lordskunk.com. You have a question there, we'll be glad to answer it as well. So, moving on now to our top 10 list of the week. Okay, this is an exciting one. All right, because this is not just top 10 characters. This is a little bit different format. These are the top 10 raid. Let me see how you say it. I got to flip over to the next one. Okay, top 10 raid squads to farm for the AAT takedown. So, these are not just top 10 characters, they're top 10 teams. Amazing. So, the AAT raid drops today. Well, this was supposed to be for last week. Dropped recently, and you'll soon be facing General Grievous's army. What squad should you be developing and using to guarantee massive damage and heroic AAT success? This list will focus on farmable characters that anyone can push for and develop. Sorry, clones. Also, characters are only used once, just like when you face the AAT raid for the first time. Wow. Here we go.
Very upset about the clones.
Top 10 AAT raid squads to farm. Coming in at number 10. Okay, the first character is the leader, so these are put in the order of how they would arrange on the team. So at the top is Luminara here, so she would be the leader. Luminara, Eathcoth, Mace Windu, Plo Koon, and Poggle the Lesser. The bottom of your roster, Luminara's evasion, lead better, keep them alive long enough for Poggle's buff to let them smack the boss a few times. Don't hold your breath, though. Number 9, Count Dooku, Yoda, Amagundi, First Order TIE Pilot, and Kit Fisto. A collection of characters with modest offensive output who are hugely buffed by the Dooku lead and evasion and offense up buffs. Not a squad for an AoE heavy phase, but great for the last P4 push. Number 8, Poe Dameron, the ace of the Resistance. This is all Resistance team. Rey, Finn, Resistance Pilot, and Resistance Trooper. A tenacity and turn meter based squad with big burst, single target damage. Nothing special unless you have them modded to the max, but they can still bring pain when they are needed. And also, you're going to need these guys for the mod challenge event. Number 7, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Royal Guard, Clone Sergeant, and Snow Trooper. Wow. All right, so this is an AoE damage, dots, damage over time, turn meter, manipulation, and Royal Guard's taunt and stun slow the other team down. A sneaky pile of damage from some lesser used characters. Number 6, Admiral Akbar, Leia, Han Solo, Hoth Rebel Scout, Clone Wars Chewbacca. The classic Rebel team before Wigs was buffed and made widely available. Trick or Treat Leia and Han Solo should be able to stick solid damage on the boss with assists and cleanses from supporting characters. Number 5, Old Ben, Ugnaught, Gamorrean Guard, Fives, and Dengar. the team that is built to keep Ugnaught alive to give him maximum damage potential in Phase 3. Ugnaught's huge evasion bonus against waves of droids is further supported with an evasion leader and multiple debuffing tanking support staff. Number 4, HK-47, Jawa Engineer, IG-88, IG-86, and B2, your classic droid team. Massive AoE damage, turn meter manipulation, and a dispel. Sounds like a great team for phases with heavy buffs and taunts. Number 3, Dachka, Jawa, Chief Nebbit, Jawa Scavenger, and Geonosian Soldier. Buffed by a huge potency gain in the raid environment, the combination of defense down, turn meter reduction, and boatloads of bombs should give you a nice boost on the leaderboards. Adding a tanky assist damage character with the assist buff to all Jawas can only make this team better. Number 2, Anakin, Ayla Secura, Ahsoka Tano, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Ewok Elder. A tanky team with excellent synergy, debuff removal, and revive, and assist and cleanse attacks. This team will not thrive in an AoE heavy raid phase, but will unleash devastating single target damage. Coming in at number 1 for our top 10 AAT raid squads to farm, Wedge, Biggs, Lando, Stormtrooper Han, and Captain Phasma. This squad unleashes massive damage on any phase in any raid. It is clearly the squad that will allow you to dominate the leaderboard. So, very interesting stuff there for our top 10 AAT raid squads to farm. If you want to see some of the best teams in action, head over to lordskunk.com, click on guides, and click on the AAT Tank Takedown, which is updated often. This guide will head over there soon as well. But this is a great option for a lot of free-to-play new players trying to start out and getting a raid going. Or if you felt like you were working on the wrong people before, this might give you a little bit of direction to get back in there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, that rank 1 team is great in Phase 2 of the AAT raid. I'd say that rank 2 team, the Jedi team, seems more like of a P1 team. Try to do like maybe 100, 200k damage to start the raid, and that Ugnaught team is great for P3, and in P4, if you can, listen, if you could save that Wigs team for P4, I'd do it and go with your droids in P2, but it's obviously dependent upon what characters you have and how maxed out they are.
Very good. Very good. All right. So that was the top 10 AAT raid squads to farm. So final thoughts. With so many characters to gear and play with, the key to raid success will be a broad roster, which you feel excited to experiment with. The best AAT raid team is not on this list because we don't know it yet. Get to work. Who would have thought that Tebow Lead was going to be the dominating team in the Rancor raid when that first was launched? Right? Nobody would have thought that.
So you know what? Tebow's pretty good in this raid too. I was using him, on Phase 3. You got quite a lot of damage with him taking down that main rocket B2 droid.
Yep.
He can do his turn meter on the rocket droid.
That works real well.
So.
Yeah, so there's quite a few options out there. Now, the other thing that I want to make sure that we point out before we wrap up this top 10, okay, this is a public service announcement. Okay, if you are like me, you will go and focus on a character, level that character up, gear it up as far as you could possibly gear it, be done, and then move on to another character. Now, for those of us that are OCD like that, we have to put the brakes on. We have to stop. The main goal here is to get a broad roster of at least gear 10 characters. So you need to go back, get your character to gear 10, stop, go back and get another character to gear 10, stop, go back and get another character to gear 10. It's not going to... Your main characters, yes, you can continue to move up with, but I'm saying some of these other roster characters, I'm a Gundy, okay? It's not going to be a main player in my arena and other aspects of the game, but I want to get him up, so I got to get him up to gear 10. Same thing goes for Kit Fisto. Same thing goes for some of these other characters. You need to make sure you get them up to gear 10. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, and you want to look for the characters that need the least amount of raid gear and hard pieces to get. Like, so for example, like there's a guide that we actually put out a while ago on lordskunk.com from Wise Man Pendle that shows all the characters that need one piece of raid gear to get to gear 10 or gear 11. And if you're trying to get those characters up quick, you might want to start with those characters first because they're the easiest to gear, and then move on to some of the harder characters to get done. So at least you can get those easier to gear characters done right away.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between a Gear 8 or Gear 9 character in this raid and a character that's Gear 10 or Gear 11. I mean, it's the 8 or 9 might have worked in a Rancor and a Zerg phase, but they don't last very long in this new one. So you really need to make sure you get a wide roster to Gear 10. And think about it: if you get a character to Gear 10 and you're trying to get them to Gear 11 or Gear 10 and a half, whatever you can get them up to right now, that you probably could have got a whole nother character or two up to Gear 10 in that amount of time. So just be smart about it. Think about it. Don't try to complete. And I preach this forever on the live shows, to finish off a character. Do whatever it takes to finish off a character. Well, for this raid, it's a little different, so we gotta change our tactics a little bit. So good stuff there. This is another TeamSkunk.com presentation brought to you by Mac Media Artists Collective, and it was brought to us or written by Malia Bean of Team Skunk. So cool, man. Cool. Good job, guys. Thank you.
Our number one top 10 guy.
Our number one top 10 guy. Yes. He's definitely in the top 10 of our top 10 writers for sure.
He's top 10 in our top 10s.
Yep. Thank you, Malia Bean. So now let's see where we're at. We're moving right along here, boys. Next thing we're going to be talking about, I don't know if Castaspello is going to make it here to the Swindler's Minute. I know a lot of people were excited to see that. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know if he's not going to bring us a Swindler's Minute. If he's not, then it just gives us more time for questions. If he does end up showing up, hey, we'll be glad to bring him on. But again, the one thing I want to talk about again is if you have a question for the live show, make sure you get that in on Twitter. Follow Lord Skunk 1 on Twitter. Use the hashtag AskSkunk. We'll be glad to answer those questions. This is Remon's favorite time of the week, is to answer your guys' questions about whatever it might be about the game. He loves to theory craft and try out different things, so feel free to ask away. Real quick, guys, I just want to get your thoughts so far on the tank raid and how you're progressing and how you feel that you were prepared for it.
I think I was super prepared for it. The two teams that I happen to be running in arena the last couple of months are the two teams that are the most effective teams in this raid. So, I mean, I went with droids for a few months and dominated with them. And, the droids happen to be excellent in P2. And, then after that, I switched to a Wigs team with Lando. And, they're great. I'm looking forward to the next tournament so I could try to get my short trooper to 7-star so I can use him in the raid as well. Because, you can never have enough tanks to try to divert, some of the damage. But, pretty good. I mean, I did a lot of, gearing of characters early where, like I said, where characters were easy to get to Gear 10 or Gear 11. And I just pumped the resources into them to get them there, even though I wasn't necessarily using them in arena or really in the raid that much. So I just have a nice abundance of characters that are geared up pretty well. And, I'm doing pretty well right now. I mean, I'm just kind of trying to find a groove where, I know what teams to use in each phase, but, that'll come over time.
Nice. McLeod?
Yeah, I'm not, obviously, no one's really quite got a roster like Remon, but I was pretty prepared for what I had to do. I've got a pretty decent spread of characters, and I'm probably only a few stun cuffs and a couple pieces of raid gear of having a properly full-on roster to take on the heroic AT raid. But my guild is kind of mid-level, maybe pre-heroic at the moment. So we won't be getting there for a while. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I got, and just finishing off a few of the last pieces on my Jawas mostly, and then I'm going to focus more on completing my clones and seeing how they fare. But even at the level they're at, they seem to be pretty good. So I did actually find out that if you take the Wigs combo and then stick them in with 5s and Rex, that's a pretty good team too. That works pretty well.
What's really important to do here is to try to go to all your characters, even ones that that aren't necessarily geared up all the way, and put some sort of mods on them, right? So at least, if even those lower mods you're not going to ever put on your arena team, the ones that just didn't work out, put those on a character somewhere. So it just helps them, get more HP, get more speed, get more critical chance, whatever stats you're getting on them, it helps. So, just put some mods on, let's say like a Gear 8 Luminara, can help her match, and that's really what you need in this AAT, because it's just a brutal beatdown, and we're just trying to inch away with as damage as we can throughout the duration, So
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, we got a question in the live chat. They didn't catch where they could find that guide at. Head over to lordskunk.com and you can look in the guide section there. I believe it's either in the guide section or the top 10, but you will find it. It was by Wise Man Pendle. It was the characters that only need one piece of raid gear. I know. I believe Ayla Secure was on that list. Kit Fisto. There's quite a few good characters that run that list. That only need one piece of raid gear. So make sure you check it out. I believe there's about 10 or 11. I thought. It's been a while since I last.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of they don't need like one type of gear, right? They don't need furnaces. They don't need.
Remind you better restart. You better restart again before we get to the question and answer section. You're getting robot-y. So we'll give Riemann a second to restart. But real quick, again, just so everybody knows, we do have tons of guides and resources over there, character reviews, top 10 list over on lordskunk.com. Make sure you check it out. Again, we do have the AAT raid guide. It was just updated yesterday. That thing will continually be updated as we continue to finish more heroics. We're on our 4th heroic right now. The tank takedown, as you can see. Let's see if we got any more damage done on that thing. A little bit more damage done on it. Okay, so we'll be continuing to pump those out. As soon as we're done with this one, we'll move right back in and doing another one. Looks like we got the raid coins to do it. So that's good stuff there. The other thing too is that we are having a ton of traffic going to the website. I mean, our traffic count is just stupid. So if you're interested in helping out the live shows, the podcast, the website, the reviews, the guides, all the stuff that we have, please consider supporting us on Patreon. You can head over to patreon.com/lordskunk. You can find the link in the description of this video. You can find the link on lordskunk.com. Click on support us. Just $1 a month, man. We really appreciate that. You will be rewarded with your name on the live show, streaming across the top of the live show whenever we do those, as well as special privileges within Discord, and plus just that deep down feeling inside of how good it feels to support what we're trying to accomplish here. So really appreciate that. And lastly, if you guys are interested in joining a guild that's consistently doing AAT and moving towards higher raid levels and stuff like that, and progressing as a guild community, check out teamskunk.com. We always have a place for everybody over there. And again, teamskunk.com. Now, Riemann, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I hear you now. Okay, great. So first off, hey, appreciate everybody that has checked us out in the live shows. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for hanging out with us. We do this every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again, if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. You will be notified when we go live. Click the like button on that video. Riemann, let's get into these questions. You ready?
I'm ready. Shoot.
All right, so this the first question that we have comes from Robert from Facebook. He said, any opinion on tenacity mods for Phase 2?
I kind of agree. I mean, that second attack from the tank that drops all those dots on you is really the killer of that phase. So, I mean, the thing is that the team that's probably going to be most effective in Phase 2 for you is the droids, and for them, you really want to mod them with crit chance and crit damage, or speed. So, I mean, I would try to find. I mean, I would suggest maybe putting in a if you're. I would still say go for damage. I would still say the primary has to be going for damage, because you're going to die no matter what. I mean, that's that part of the raid. And listen, I'm only speaking from heroics, so I haven't tried the regular version of it. So I'm assuming that that's going to be more of a sustainable match. You're probably going to have to last a lot longer in that. So maybe maybe McLeod can allude to that a little better than I can. But from what I've seen in the heroic version of it, you really just want to do as much damage as you can before you die. So I would say, even though you're going to get those dots, I would just go with some characters. Maybe consider throwing in a cleanser or something like that before I go with tenacity. But I mean, because you're going to miss out on damage, and in that phase, Phase 2 is the most capable for getting like a high score. So you're going to want to do a really high score in Phase 2. So I would say go for damage instead of tenacity, even though I understand where his head's at with that.
Yeah, definitely you want to be looking at just doing the damage. There is a tipping point in there at some point where you realize you're just not going to survive anymore, and you may as well just throw everything you've got at the main tank just so you get your damage in there. And tenacity doesn't really seem to make too much of a difference. So if you can, instead of tenacity, put on extra protection, some kind of buff, and get your damage in while you can, because you are, like Raymond said, you are going to die in that one. There's no real trick to this one like there is in the Rancor, and just surviving through. You're there to do as much damage as possible, and whatever helps you keep alive the longest is going to serve you better than trying to avoid those dots, because there's not really an easy way to avoid getting those put on you. Even with a lot of tenacity, from what I found, you are better off taking a cleanser in there with you, like Rex or Admiral Akbar.
You're still going to get exposed. You're still going to get dots. So, I mean, no matter what you do, it's going to be tough. I mean, I think that, tenacity would be more of a thought for P1 when you're facing General Grievous, and he does all those, he inflicts ability block on you, because that's really a bigger deal, right? You don't want to get ability block because that prevents you from doing some of the things you have to do. Dots can be remedied with a healer. So if you're using droids in P2, having Jawa Engineer can help you, revive and heal some of your characters. So, maybe working on, some increased protection or health, like McLeod said, would be the way to go for P2. But for P1, tenacity might be an option, might be something to think about.
And those are all very good points, but I think it's time that we address the elephant in the room.
And what's that?
Zabaris brought that up in the live chat. He said, the problem is all these characters are in the cantina, and we need mods too. What sense does that make? You have great characters in there like B2. You have, your Scarif is in there now. But then again, you have all these mods over there. So I really wish the devs would relook at that and do something about that. Figure out a way to make that a little easier. Now, fair enough to them. Fair enough. They did give us that extra refresh for 100 crystals for Cantina Energy. So, hey, thanks. That's a step in the right direction. But that is right. We get that question a lot. We have a lot of people talk about that, especially new players that come to the game and they're trying to get their mods up. They're trying to, make some type of headway in these guilds. And, it's just very difficult for them to do so when they have to choose. Mods are already very confusing already. We already know that. Okay, that's a given. But then they have, do they choose for mods? Do they choose for, Cantina characters? Some of these people, guys, you don't understand how many times I get this question. People say, hey, I'm doing these Cantina battles for mods. Okay, these people are in there just doing those little. I haven't been back in there since the Dames mod came out. You know what I'm talking about? So they just it's too confusing, I think, for mods. There needs to be something else for mods if they're going to continue to expect us to mod our whole entire roster. Modding, your arena team and maybe your Galactic War team, and then, maybe your one or two raid teams that we had for Rancor, that's one thing, but multiple mods, they really need to figure out a way to make that a little easier. Don't you guys agree?
Absolutely. Now I do understand why they did it. They did that because, obviously they're releasing some of these characters that were pay to play for a long time there. So, their way of doing that is kind of making you pay for extra crystal refreshes instead of buying Erodium packs, I guess. But the thing there is that you're going to have to find a balance. Okay. And, most of us have had a lot of time, we've been farming mods for months now, so, you're going to have to kind of prioritize what's most important, because the mods are important for the raid, but they're really more important for your arena team as far as getting the speed secondaries and things like that. With the mods that you're going to be using in the raid, you really can use any kind of mod to be effective in the raid. It's like I said, you don't need to have the fastest character in the world to be effective in some of these raid phases. So, I would say, start leveling up some of the mods that you have in your inventory, and, then maybe split it up between farming characters and farming mods. Maybe do a refresh a day on mods and a refresh a day on characters, so you can, farm up some of these characters slowly over time. But, that's the name of the game. The way the game is, it's about collecting and building your collection over time. So, it's part of the fun, right? So, you're going to have to just take your time, build up the characters that you want to get, and as time progresses, you'll eventually get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will
Yeah.
we'll give you guys a quick point from Daniels Jacks, who is a founding member of Team Skunk, and also one of our I would say most helpful team members who comes up with all kinds of great guides and charts and all kinds of stuff for us internally. Always helps us out there. He is primarily a free to play player. The only thing he's ever bought, and he stopped doing it. He hasn't done it in a while, but the only thing he ever did buy was that monthly Crystal Pack subscription he bought for a while. I mean, he consistently is finishing, in at least the top half of our arenas, or I'm sorry, of our raids. And I mean, he's beating people that have spent hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands, certain people on this game, and he beats them because he uses the strategy and he uses it right. But what he does when it comes to his mods and his cantina is he uses one refresh for mods and he uses one refresh for cantina. So maybe that strategy will help some of you guys out there that are struggling with this and trying to figure out what to do and how to hold that balance, like Riemann said.
Okay, I think we just got to cut in here because I think we got to first. We have breaking news from EA Jesse as we're live on air. Yeah, there is a brand new post that just came up. It's the ship preview post.
What?
So let me throw up that link over here for you.
Shit, I got it right here.
All right, there you go.
Here we go, boys and girls. Here we go. We're going to be looking at this together for the first time. Ship preview post. Only 1.3K people have ever viewed this. It was launched just a little bit ago. A few weeks back, I let you know that the team has been hard at work on the next major feature, ships. In advance of its upcoming release, we wanted to start sharing information about this new part of the game so you can start preparing for its launch. This new feature offers an exciting new mode of gameplay with new rewards, new activities, new things to collect, new goals to pursue, new strategies to craft, and more. The ships feature is a major update, our biggest one to date. And so over the coming days and weeks, we will be sharing information about the different parts of the release. The first idea we want to get in front of you is that a new aspect that will influence your entire ship's experience, fleet commanders. All right, here we go. Fleet commanders are the leaders assigned to lead a fleet of ships in space battles. You can think of them as the evolution of the leader spot in unit battle. A fleet is a group of ships which currently start with a maximum of 5 ships in play and up to 4 more ships held in reserve as reinforcements. Much more on all that in a later post. Fleet commanders will crew their own special capital ships and have unique abilities that can be used over the course of a space battle. The fleet commanders will each have a unique set of abilities as well as the option to call in a reinforcement on their turn. Starting fleet commanders. At the launch of ships, there will be 3 characters eligible to be fleet commanders. These characters are already available in the game and are eligible for character battles, but after unlocking the ships feature, they will have the additional option of crewing capital ships in fleet battles. The initial 3 fleet commanders are Admiral Akbar, Grand Moff Tarkin, and Mace Windu. More fleet commanders will be made available in future updates. Fleet commander abilities. Active and passive abilities. During their turns, fleet commanders will have a set of unique abilities that can affect an entire fleet battle with either their buffs, debuffs, or a variety of dramatic attacks. They may also have passive abilities which help their allies or hinder their opponents. Reinforcement. Another option available for the fleet commander's turn involves reinforcements. When activated, the fleet commander can call in a new ship to the battle to reinforce their fleet. This will replace a destroyed ship with one in the player's reserve roster of ships. A ship called in as a reinforcement comes into battle and immediately takes their turn. By strategically assigning ships to the initial fleet of 5, along with holding back other ships in reserve, a clever fleet commander can keep their opponents guessing and on their toes. Hope you enjoyed this quick preview of one of the most important aspects of the new ships feature. Be sure to unlock a fleet commander, Admiral Akbar, Grand Moff Tarkin, or Mace Windu to be prepared for the launch of ships. And stay tuned for more posts as we explore more features of the new ships update. Cool. Very interesting. Now, Riemann had an opportunity when he was visiting with EA Jesse to kind of get a preview of these ships. So you want to give everybody just a quick 1-minute recap on the ships? I know you can't tell us a lot, but give us just a quick update.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, the fleet commanders basically, they act as like a leader of your ship squadron, and what's cool is that you can they can basically call in like assist, basically. So you have it's like when you're picking out your teams, you could have a couple of assisting ships that can come in as like backup if you need them, or come in for a quick strike attack. And the fleet commanders, obviously, can add some extra abilities to the team. What's cool about what I saw is that it's not only adding like a new facet to the game, but there's also like more that they can grow upon with that, right? Because they're creating this new area of the game. I mean, they could be eventually, ship, raids or ship. I mean, there could be so many different things they could build off of this also. Who knows? I mean, one day we may be flying into the Death Star, right? So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
it'd be pretty cool, and the graphics for it are cool, and again, like I said to other people before, it's a different style of play. It's a different it's a different area, it's a different part of the game that's like within this game. But if you like all aspects of Star Wars, not just the ground combat with lightsabers and blasters and such, if you also like the space battles, like that part of it as well, flying X-wings and TIE fighters and things like that, then you'll love ships.
Great. Cool. Okay, well, let's get our other question out here. Okay, so this comes from CZ on Twitter. He said, would you like to see different player models in the future for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes? For example, Rex with and without his helmet. So I'm going to let Remon answer this because this is a question I want all of us to answer, but I'm going to preface it with this. There's other games out there like Heroes of the Storm, which I really like, and they let you select different skins. Believe me, I would be the first one to sign up to take the Princess Leia and make her the Slave Leia skin. I'd be all over that. So what do you guys think about that?
I understand. Like, I think that that's a good idea, but I think that it's already too late for this game for them to do that, because there's already alternate versions of characters in the game. So, I mean, now that there's already like a Stormtrooper Han and a Raid Han, and obviously we've already seen Hoth Leia in the game, I don't think that they're ever going to create skins. I think that maybe you'll be able to alter other things, like maybe your cantina at some point, or maybe like other aspects of the game. But I don't think you're going to be able to alter the player outfits, because I think they're just going to come up with new characters for those different versions of the character. So they're just going to come out with different versions of the character and give them different abilities. So, which I actually think is a little cooler, right? Because I mean, even though it'd be cool or maybe cheaper to just get a new face or make a new outfit for your character. It's cool to have different versions because they all have different abilities, different strengths. So you get more out of it that way, I think.
And I have to agree with that on a certain aspect, because think about it, if you took, let's just use the example I just said, Princess Leia. If you took Princess Leia and you put a Slave Leia skin on her, she wouldn't, she would still be using her blaster, she'd still be stealthing. That was more for that specific character's abilities at that time for that Leia. Slave Leia obviously would be a totally different ability type and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess I can see that. I see your point there for sure. What do you think, McLeod?
Yeah, this kind of game probably doesn't lend itself too well to skins. It's a nice idea, but the vibe and feel of it doesn't seem to work too well for that kind of mechanic, because, like you said, we do have the alternate versions, and they are tied in to specific skill sets and personas, so probably not going to come in. And the last thing you probably really need is to spend resources or money on something that doesn't actually assist you getting anywhere further in the game, and it's just a visual thing. So,
yeah, I would rather spend the credits and crystals on like a new character, right? Like a new version of a character than just getting a new outfit. You know what I mean? But it's like, for the character that they mentioned specifically, like Rex, I think we'll eventually see like an older version of Rex because he's in Rebels. So I mean, like whenever they start going into the Rebels characters, they'll probably release Old Man Rex.
All right, I got another question here, another good one. This one comes from Billy Gunn 1216. How many character projects are too many?
How many character projects are too many?
We meant to get his question. Just want to shout out to Billy Gunn. We meant to get his question a few live shows back, but we ended up running out of time, or I can't remember how we ended up forgetting it. But I did promise him we would get that question answered for him. So.
I would say never. I mean, I currently have 80 character projects that I'm working on. You know what I mean? So it's every character on your roster is a project, okay, but you have to prioritize based upon what you're looking for. So first and foremost, your main 5 character project should be your arena team to make sure that you're getting those crystals every single day from your arena payout. But besides that, uh, you want to limit yourself to what you think is possible. So I mean, like, if you know that one character needs a Nubian tech and another character needs a furnace and another character needs this, maybe pick one character for each type of raid gear, and then just work on those. That's the way I've always done it. Is like, if I know this character needs stun cuffs and this character needs, a stun gun, I will, farm the stun gun for this character while I'm farming the cuffs for this guy. And whenever I get those pieces done, I just finish those characters up. But I just pick like a next in line for each type of piece versus picking a character to work on next, if that makes any sense. So I go based upon the gear versus the character. So like if I know, I'm going to be farming, let's say I want to level up Leia and Ray. I'm saying I'm going to look at what pieces they need, and then I will just make them the priority for those next pieces that I get. And I usually won't farm 2 characters that need the same pieces because that's counterproductive.
Makes sense. Yeah, for me, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier in my thoughts on it is that get that character to gear 10. Get him to gear 10. Get him to where it says unlock from gear 9 to gear 10, and then move on. For right now, unless you're focusing hard on an arena type team or something like that. If you're looking for just a raid, especially for a lot of guilds out there, man, there's a lot of guilds. We looked at the leaderboards. There's not many out there that are doing the heroic. I mean, literally out of the thousands and thousands of guilds in the world, there's a handful, probably count them on 2 hands that are doing it consistently. So, the key to being able to do that is all the people in that guild getting those gear 10 characters. So I would focus on getting those characters to gear 10. That would be my project. I think it's switched a little bit from what we talked about doing in the past and what we've been doing in the past to what we're doing now for this raid. Until we get to 85, until we start to get these characters up, I think that's a good way. And like Riemann said, you can use your gear. Make sure you're gear farming, efficiently. So, McLeod, anything on that one?
No, I think Riemann covered it.
Cool. Good deal. All right. Well, just so everybody knows, okay, again, I'm going to reiterate this because a lot of these questions that I've been seeing over the last couple weeks are now answered on the LordSkunk.com Team Skunk raid guide, strategy guide, guild guide that we have for the AET Tank Takedown, Heroic, and Normal. Make sure you head over to LordSkunk.com, check that thing out. Now, we've been getting so much traffic, the site has been up and down, so just make sure you check back. Again, if you'd like to support us, the website, the live shows, all the stuff that we do for you guys, please check us out on Patreon. You can find the link in the description of this video or on LordSkunk.com. We really appreciate that. Of course, we do have the podcast. This broadcast will be up on a podcast probably by Sunday night. Support us, support those broadcasts. Let us get that stuff out there for you guys. If you haven't done so yet, you haven't joined our Discord. Our Discord is a voice and text chat program that we use to communicate with our guilds and our community. Make sure you head over to lordskunk.com, click on Discord, or click it in the description of this video. Get into our Discord app. Riemann, after every live show, hosts the after party. Okay, so he'll be answering additional questions live and chatting with you guys and whatever you guys want to talk about, Galaxy Heroes related, whatever. We go over that, so make sure you check that out. Again, that's in our Discord chat immediately following the live show. We also have released the forums, so we have Star Wars Galaxy Heroes forums over on lordskunk.com. You guys can check out. And again, if you're looking at joining a very, very, very tight-knit, very organized, very structured gaming community, check out teamskunk.com. We got guilds for everybody that plays this game, regardless of your play level. If you're a high-level player looking to be able to complete these tank takedowns, definitely make sure you check us out. All right, guys, any last thoughts, anything you want to throw in or add?
I just had a quick tip for when you're leveling up now, because it's been a while. What I realized was when you level up, you get that free energy boost that they give you for both Cantina and regular energy. Use up all your energy before you level up. If you're about to hit the next level, use it up, because it gives you so much that it basically fills up your energy meters again. So make sure you burn them down before you level up, because then you'll get your maximum amount back for that.
Good tip. Also a tip from Malubine that he just posted recently in our Discord chat, speaking of that, was that the new battles that open up after level 82, they actually give you more XP for the energy spent. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So try to focus on those harder battles to finishing leveling up. You get an additional, I believe, 4 XP for the energy spent as compared to some of the old battles. Remon, any last thoughts?
No, just looking forward to BISTAN, and that the new tournament coming around the corner, and we got lots of cool stuff coming for you guys. So just stay tuned. Come back next week, and I'll have some videos posted throughout the week for you guys to check out as well on lordskunk.com. But as usual, keep on gaming, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
And don't forget, Remon has a 7-star Vader review. Or is it Han Solo or Vader?
Han Solo
Han
review
Solo.
that I just did. I also did a 7-star Vader review
Which is
last
on there.
week.
Yeah, which is on there as well. So 7-star Han Solo review is on there. We just posted that recently. Again, if you missed the 7-star Vader review, you can check that out. Also, of course, the 7-star Obi-Wan Kenobi review is on there. So all kinds of good stuff. Make sure you head over to lordskunk.com. And again, bear with us. We do need to get the site upgraded. We're looking for you guys to help us out so we can do that. We're getting so much traffic over there. It's ridiculous. The site has been going up and down all day. But there is good stuff on there. If you're patient, you will be able to get to it. We appreciate you guys checking it out. Also, I just want to end it on this, is that if you have any type of video content, Team Skunk members ask me all the time what they should do or how they should do it. If you're interested in doing video reviews, get with myself, get with Remon. We'll be glad to help you guys and give you our thoughts on what we do and how we can help you get that content out to the community. We're always looking to bring up new content creators. There cannot be enough content out there. I don't think. So get with us. We'll be glad to help you. All right, guys. Thanks for checking us out. Again, we'll see you here next Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Every time, make sure you get your questions in throughout the week. Follow @LordSkunk1 on Twitter, hashtag AskSkunk, and we'll be glad to answer those on the live show for you next Friday. We'll see you then. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe.